You see, after the person is dead, you remember that person, right? But when the person is alive, do you remember death? I repeat my question. When the person is dead, you remember that person. But when the person is alive, do you remember death?
All of us have dealt with grief in some or the other way. We have lost our loved ones, right? But to detach yourself from that situation and just be the observer, how do you start that?
It is not death that scares us. Unlived life is what we grieve for. Who is not dying every moment? Please tell me. Who is not dying every moment?
How does one bring out that depth in one's life and living?
Who wants to admit life is dry and loveless? So we say, no, yeah, no, I have so many loving friends and family members, and meet my new girlfriend, and she is already looking over her shoulder. That one is nice. But real love is also there, sir. Why are you discounting it? Please show me where it is.
No, sir, then the real love doesn't exist.
It can. If it doesn't exist, then you won't suffer. You won't be restless. Do you know why you can't sleep properly? Nobody can. Do you know why we are always discontented?
My name is Sanya and I'm a PhD student, final year PhD student. So there is always an extent of, I'll talk about grief here. Okay, so all of us have dealt with grief in some or the other way. We have lost our loved ones, right? So as an observer who should not be participating in it, but then you always have an extent of feeling towards people who you are losing. For example, if you lose a parent, the grief or the feeling of losing that person, even if you try to observe, okay, this is the hormones, this is what is happening, and eventually it will dilute, maybe or maybe not. But to detach yourself from that situation and just be the observer, I think it is the most difficult thing to do. And how do you start that? What is the beginning?
You see, after the person is dead, you remember that person, right? But when the person is alive, do you remember death?
It also depends on the context. Like if you know
If
the
he is in
person has
hospital.
chronic illness, you will
Mostly,
imagine
even
the
if the person has chronic illness, you will remember death only 3-4 times a day, that too reluctantly. I repeat my question. When the person is dead, you remember that person. But when the person is alive, do you remember death?
Not exactly.
You don't. And that's where suffering lies. Because when you do not remember death, then you waste the time you have with that person while alive. And that's why there is so much grief, because time had been wasted. So much was possible when the person was alive. You squandered the opportunity. And that's what entire grief is for. We don't remember death. We think of death as something ugly. But facts cannot be ugly. Facts are just facts. But in the moment of love, in the moment of ownership, attachment, possessiveness, we hate to remember death. The mother holding the baby in her arms would just not want to imagine death.
Yeah.
Right? Embracing your beloved. You won't want to think of the skull, the bones, the ashes. Would you? And then you waste the opportunity. Death has to be seen as a fact not at the end of a string, but as a present reality. Everything is changing all the time. That is death. Why do you want to avoid it? Even if this person is said to stay alive for another 3 decades, she won't be the same one she is this evening. And I waste away this evening because I forget there would be change, that there would be death. So the evening is gone. And tomorrow she'll be another person. And then I'll regret. And one day when this body will be ashes, and I'll regret even more. It is not death that scares us. Unlived life is what we grieve for.
So I think I can translate it as like when we grieve for others, we are grieving for ourselves.
Who is not dying every moment? Please tell me. Who is not dying every moment?
Sannyasi.
Then why do you want to believe that the person, hmm, as you see him right now, would be carried over to the future? No one gets carried over to the future. No one. Which means this is all that you have. This person would be dead in an hour. An hour is too much. He would be dead in a minute. A minute is too much. He would be gone in a nanosecond. Why don't you make the most out of this then? And that's where grief lies. You don't make the most out of this because you choose to forget death, especially when you are young, especially when all seems green and verdant and vibrant. Right? Death is a scare. The god of death is shown with such a hideous face and such a crazy appearance in all cultures. But death is life. When I'm teaching my students, I tell them only death is born. Only death is born. How can you avoid death? This that you are seeing is not a human being, it's death. Why do you want to suppress the fact? Yes, you want to suppress the fact. And when you suppress it, it explodes. When it explodes, then we weep.
I am Amit Kumar Khoiwal. I am a master's first year student in entrepreneurship and management department.
Welcome.
And I happened to pen down my question that I have. So Acharya ji, I wish to ask about bringing depth into life. Having faced situations where the fragility of life became very evident, such as near-death experiences and also losing loved ones, I have realized how impermanent everything is. At the same time, life often appears repetitive, almost mechanical. This creates an existential crisis where many deep questions arise, but very few answers seem satisfying. To truly face and transcend this, I feel one needs a certain depth and expansiveness of consciousness. My question is, how does one bring out that depth in one's life and living?
Mostly what is shallow has already been labeled as deep. Now, is depth even needed?
It's relative. You can, whatever is deep for one person might just be
We are limiting ourselves to one person.
okay.
If that one person has already labeled shallow as deep, is depth even needed? That's the answer.
Yeah.
Start seeing that all that you call as deep is very shallow. And then some depth will reveal itself. Otherwise, there is no need for depth. You have already taken something very superficial as deep.
Yeah. Depth would be dependent on your context of your problem or your purpose. So one shallow situation might just be
Yes. When you say, oh, I love you deeply, please see how shallow that is. When you say, my religion has great depth, please see how shallow what you call your religion is. Not talking of religion itself. Yes, the ego, the participating self, this one, the ego, hates to admit that it is stupid. Whereas it is, obviously. Otherwise, it won't participate. Right? So it keeps labeling in the most mischievous way. See that happening all around. Oh, he's my life partner. Like, really? What kind of label are you assigning? This is the house of my dreams. Really? I'm not saying that dreams are false. I'm saying this is not even a house. Not even a house. I'm educated. Really? And if you think you are educated, education stops. I won't settle for less. I won't fear anybody. Like, really? When you start labeling cowardice as courage, courage is killed. But the ego won't accept that it is a coward. It will label cowardice itself as some brand of courage. Who wants to admit life is dry and loveless? So we say, no, yeah, no, I have so many loving friends and family members, and meet my new girlfriend, and she is already looking over her shoulder. That one is nice.
Yeah.
But so many things I am educated, and if they are all are meaningless, so I think 99.99% people are try to find these
Will we
things
say,
only. So
if all of that is meaningless, will we say that? Or will we first figure out whether that is meaningless? Please tell me.
But everyone expects something in their life. Some expect the power, some expect the money, some expect the
Yes, right. But if
beautiful
if
relations
in
in
the garb of power, what you have gathered is dependency, how wise are you? Please tell me. Again, if in the name of love, you have accumulated dependency or exploitation, how wise are you? What did you order from the menu? And what have you on your table? How wise are you to consume it now and then pay the bill? You didn't want this for sure, but then you didn't know the dish. You went to a Mexican restaurant and ordered some fancy thing. First time heard the name, and then he brings you something. You have no way of determining whether this is that. So you eat it and also pay for it. That's love. Without knowing what love is, why do you place an order?
even not that materialistic kind of love, like okay, just if a person want like be a kind person, that everyone cannot get hurt. If everyone will want this, then only the people will be
All
right.
right, I'll be a kind person who doesn't want to hurt anybody. Sir, please say you want this. Please say you want this. Please say you too want this. And I'm a kind person. I don't want to hurt anybody. What do I do? What kind of notions are these? What is this?
So you are saying that that is also some kind of like we are having some purpose.
Bad labeling. Bad labeling. You are labeling desire as kindness. You are labeling desire as love. Deceptive labeling. That's all. Nothing else. The mother loves the child unconditionally. Yes, only her child. And is that not a condition? The very first condition. I have unconditional love for my own child. I have unconditional love for my own child. Don't you see through all this? Don't you see through all this? The idea here was, sir, you are talking of the materialistic kind of love, but real love is also there, sir. Why are you discounting it? Please show me where it is.
No, sir, then the real love doesn't exist.
It can. If it doesn't exist, then you won't suffer. You won't be restless. Do you know why you can't sleep properly? Nobody can. Do you know why we are always discontented? That is love. But instead of getting into it, we settle for something very small and say, no, sweetheart.
So we all pursue something in life, career goal or personal aspirations. Often these pursuits takes us to a certain place, position or state. We are also told that one must have a purpose in life. But I have seen that having a purpose does not always translate into true meaning or some fulfillment. So my question is, what should be the wise or smart approach so that our pursuit of purpose also leads to genuine meaning and fulfillment in life?
First of all, you have to drive the crowd away from your interiors. The moment you say purpose, what you get is a very limited list to choose from. And that limited list has been supplied to you by the crowd, by tradition, by history, by surroundings, by peers, by all this. So you have a list. And that list contains maybe some 10, 15 items, and you pick one of them, you ticking that box, you think you have exercised choice. No, that is not choice. That is not choice. Right? That's like choosing, like which wall of this hall do I choose to break my head on? That kind of choice. My purpose has to be something totally innate. Totally innate. It has to be irrespective of even your education.
Like in the reptilian brain, like
Yes, the reptilian brain, the evolutionary brain, it's all coming from there. Yes, but why must be so captivated by it? All that is this, and this is who you are. Why must you allow the limitations of this to become your limitations? Remember? So the matter of purpose. Now, what can determine your purpose? Only your own situation. And you are situated in this world, right? We are not hanging somewhere in a vacuum. So there is this, there is this. And if I know both of them, a purpose will spontaneously arise. But instead, we allow the crowd to dictate our purpose. Without knowing this, you see how loveless the crowd is. And you see how deep an act of love it is to know. To know. Do we know what's going on in the world? Do we understand? Do we know our own situation? And if we know that, then we'll know what next to do. Spontaneous, effortless action arises. And you are unstoppable because you know. Nobody can convince you against your own discretion because you know. Otherwise, think of the choices we made. We make the purposes that we hold. This one, the wise one, would come and convince me against what I have decided. Does that not happen? For 40 days, you said, I have finally found the ultimate purpose of life.
one step away from a contradiction.
It's beautifully put. One step away from being contradicted. And then you are again waiting for somebody to lean on. And this person will now come in and hand over another purpose. Only to be contradicted by this one this time. Last time it was this one. And these are not persons. These are situations. These are phenomena. Right? Something can happen. It could be an event. And now you again are left feeling like a fool. I was carrying this thing close to the heart for so long. And now it doesn't appear meaningful. What do I go for next? So please understand this and this. And then you will get something that may have nothing to do with what the crowd does, and yet maybe just the right thing for you. And that requires courage. Right? But that's what you must have because you are young and you are educated.
So courage to finding the purpose, isn't that also appending the list to add one more thing in that list?
No, that dissolves the list. You tear away the list. No list anymore. No list anymore. Even I do not know my purpose in some sense. It is a happening. It is arising spontaneously. Knowing has become doing. Knowing has not become deciding. It is not a decision. It is not a decision because decisions can be
Changed.
reversed.
Yes.
It is not a decision. It is unstoppable.
But this instant happening thing.
Huh? Yeah, yes. Very intricately seen. Yes. In the coma person and in this one, there is such great similarity. Both appear to be flowing. both appear to lack agency. Both appear to lack an inner controlling agency. You were talking of Advait Vedanta, and I said, many of the wisdom traditions of the world, they talk of awakening as the great inner beautiful death of the one who never existed at all. So you are worse than now being in coma. You are actually
Died.
the comatose one can never afford death. But you have embraced death. You have embraced death, and now you are flowing. But the quality of this flow is fundamentally different from the quality of the flow of the comatose person. Apparently, that they'll be the same. The comatose person doesn't decide. The awakened person also doesn't decide. That one looks like flowing. This one also looks like flowing. That one looks mad. This one also looks mad. Yet there is a great difference.
Isn't that one series of impulses?
Yes, that one has a series of impulses. This one has become an observer of all impulses, all such series.
But being an observer, I have to delve into that impulse also.
No,
Isn't
that
it?
would be purpose. All observation is purposeless. If you have a purpose, then you will distort the observation. Whenever you go to look at something with an aim, with a goal, with a purpose or desire, you will end up distorting what you are seeing.
It all starts with understanding that there is no absolute truth for any belief that you have. It's only a relative one constraint.
You can start from there.
Yeah.
You can start from there.
It
And
starts
having
from there.
seen the futility of all relatives, all relatives,
Yeah.
you could say, with nobody left to say anything, this is the absolute.
Yeah.
It is just different frame of references.
Yeah. Frame of reference.
As long as there is somebody relative to what is relative, you are only talking of relatives.
But isn't that observer also being a frame of reference from which it is observing?
No. Because it has nothing to do with anything.
It is not impacting, but you said it has an effect on this.
If it is purposeful or desirous, if it wants to be the consumer, then it will destroy this. If it is an observer, obviously it doesn't interfere. It has nothing to do with this. That's observation.
So it is just a different, not any form of matter or any form of...
Yes.
It does not occupy
Yes,
anything.
because if it is matter will interact with matter. Matter cannot help interacting with matter. Is there anything called an inert material?
Not
Even
ideally.
that which you call as inert is actually reactive.
Yes, Xenon.
You just need to give it the right condition.
Yes.
So if this is material, this cannot be an observer. It will become a participant.
So it is just something inert which is beyond the form of consciousness.
Yes, nothing. It is nothing. It is nothing.
Hi, this is Ashutosh Singh from Kanpur. I'm an IT professional working from almost 10 years now. I'm listening to Acharya ji from last almost 1.5 years already. I started listening to him from YouTube channel, and the videos what he makes and the knowledge which he actually shares is truly mind-blowing. I mean, that's something which you really start realizing about your own life. There's a lot which we do in IT world. I would literally want to say that IT people are literally intelligent enough to learn machines, but there's a really good machine, that's our own body and then a conscious mind. We should literally spend time to learn ourselves better. And I think I'm into Bhagavad Gita just because I'm more into learning my own self. If you literally feel that you're into pain and you don't even realize it and you're still into rat race for the entire life, come on, we all need to really die. We all are born to die. Why not do something better, learn ourselves, learn our lives, realize what the purpose of life, and then die? This is something better, right? I have realized it. And the favorite word in English I would say is choice. Yeah, so we all have choice. I had choice. I have made a choice which is literally mind-blowing in my life. And that's the same choice which you all also have. Come on, let's pick it up and change our own life. Thank you.